Hey guys, so in this tutorial we're actually going to start getting into the fun stuff, which is where we're gonna now that we've covered sort of controllers, you understand that they control the flow of the application, and they're used for passing information from the view to the model, and they're controlled with sort of the flow of the application. We understand that the views is just the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript that's actually served up and is rendered to the client. It's what they actually are going to interact with. We're going to move on to models, which is the last sort of, component of the MVC framework. And we're going to start actually coding out this website that you're using right now. So I cleaned up the index page, the about page, and I deleted that form that we're using in other tutorials. Now we're going to move on to the model class. So what the model is, we're going to get rid of this views and models. Models are all stored in your models folder, and they're all classes. So if you click on models and click add a class, we're going to call this, we're just going to call this a video class. Okay. So if we see now we have another video class in our model. So the great thing about C#, or about the, the great thing about the ASP.NET MVC framework is that you can use C# as a backend server-side language, and we can even we can code these classes, and we can let the entity framework build the database for us. And this is called the code first model. But basically, let's just, I'll probably get into the entity framework next tutorial. In this one, I guess I'll probably just stick to an actual class. So you should be pretty familiar with this with basically any language, public class, and just name the class, right? This is basically just going to represent a video class, which is going to represent a tutorial video like the one that you're watching now. So each of them is going to have an ID, and this is just going to be, if you know anything about databases, the primary key for the video table that we're going to create in the next tutorial. So we're just going to go ahead and just do public int ID, so we can keep track of them. So maybe the first video will be ID of 1, and so on and so forth. Each video should probably have a name, I would imagine. So we'll just do name, and then we can do another one. We'll do, if I could spell and talk at the same time, I totally can't. Probably a description. Each video should have a name, a description, and probably each video should have a URL. Because I'm not going to host a video myself. Just because I'd rather host it on YouTube, because their servers are going to be a lot faster than mine, and then just play it through an iframe. So anyways, yeah, so we have our name, our description, our URL, and our ID. So this right here is our class, and all of this should seem pretty familiar for you if you have any experience with any sort of C-style language. Which is just basically, we have these get and set methods that are already baked into it. If you come from Java, these may be a little bit different for you, or C++ or PHP or anything. But yeah, C# syntax sugar with this get and set is pretty awesome. So pretty standard stuff. And then the only thing that's going to seem unstandard is we're going to do this other public class, and we're going to call it video context. And this is going to inherit from the DB context class. And let's see, DB's. There we go, I can spell. So we're going to also add the using system.data.entity. So we're going to have this other class, and basically this class is going to represent each one of our videos. So if you're used to object-oriented programming, you understand about creating a new video object or a new object. So basically, when we're working with videos in our application, it's going to represent a video that's going to actually coincide to a video table that we're going to create in the next tutorial. So this video context class, all this is going to do is this is just going to return an entire list. It's going to return a DB set of videos, right? And we're going to call it the video table. So this is going to represent an individual video item, and this public video context that is going to return this DB set is going to represent our entire video table that's going to be stored to our database. This is pretty standard stuff. This is how a lot of the web applications in ASP.NET MVC are built. That's either the code first model. You can use database first or whatever, but for new applications, most developers prefer this code first model. So basically, you write your classes or your business model, you write this out, you describe it like that, and then you let the entity framework sort of build the database for you, and then you can go in and fine tune it. But this is generally the way that it's going to be done, is that you're going to build your class, then you're going to have a context class so you'll have, this is also a standard naming convention. So you'll have your regular class, which will just coincide to each individual record in the database, and then you'll have your context class, which will be named the same as your class with just the last word context. That'll inherit probably from DB context, and it'll return this public DB set. You can name it whatever. I like to name the actual table that it's coinciding with. So this is going to serve up all of the videos in a DB set that you have on the database that we're going to create in the next tutorial. So this is pretty standard stuff right here in terms of the ASP.NET MVC code first convention of doing things, which is, like I said, you just create your class and then you have a context class that serves up every video or every item in that table. So in the next tutorial, when we actually start coding it with the entity framework, it'll make a little bit more sense, but for right now, just take it on faith that you create a class, and this could be any kind of class, and then you just create the context class that serves up all of the individual records. So in the next tutorial, I'm going to show you guys how to build this out using the entity framework. Thanks a lot for watching.